What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Luke Hastings at Narrowway Man on Instagram, and today we're talking about why you are not disciplined, or at least not the way you want to be. So, discipline has been such a trending topic lately. It's kind of obnoxious. My first thoughts on discipline were published about 15, 16 years ago on Facebook, back when people were on Facebook. I haven't looked at that in a long time, but maybe some of you are still there. Anyway, I've been talking about discipline for a long time and have been obsessed with it for a long time. Only within about 5 to 6 years in the recent past has it become such a trending topic, and it kind of annoys me because discipline is very important, but it is often misunderstood. It's become something that it shouldn't have meant, that it was never meant to be over the past, again, 5 to 6 years. Instead of something that you're using on somebody else, like disciplining somebody, correcting them, helping them straighten up, this is referring to what I would call self-discipline. So we're going to call it the ability to do things and be consistent and make yourself stick to something, whether that be a diet, wake up time, avoiding a vice, working hard, doing all of that kind of stuff when you don't feel like it, right? So that would be self-discipline, is doing the thing you need to do when you don't feel like it, that capacity, right? Before we begin, I know you guys are familiar with me to varying degrees, with me, what I do. So I'm a men's coach. I'm primarily on Instagram. YouTube is a newer thing. Welcome here if you're new. So what I do is I help men with confidence, motivation, relationships, and overcoming addiction. I do it all from a Christian biblical perspective. You don't have to be Christian to work with me, but you do have to be open to those kind of principles, okay? So before I talk about discipline, some of you are sitting here thinking, yeah, whatever. Like, who is this guy? Why should I listen to him? Fair question. How do you know I'm not in my mom's basement just making YouTube videos looking for attention? Okay, so what I'm about to do is I'm about to explain some things to you. I'm about to recount some of my past to give you credibility, or rather to give me credibility, to help you understand that I am somebody who knows what they're talking about with discipline. I have not shared a lot of this with anybody in the online space, okay? So it may sound a bit braggadocious. That's not the intent. The intent is I need you to understand I'm familiar with this concept called discipline that I'm about to disassemble, okay? We're going to start from when I was 16. 16 is when I got my first job, okay? Out of all of the restaurants in Bentonville, Arkansas, Bentonville is the Walmart World Headquarters, okay? So it has the Walmart World Headquarters. It has vendor teams that work for Walmart with Walmart. It has suppliers that work for Walmart that supply Walmart with all of their goods and wares, okay? And then, of course, it has all the Walmart employees as well, plus all the marketing capacities, sales capacities, all kinds of big money people. And I, at the age of 16, am working at the restaurant there with the most sales, selling the most food, feeding the most people in the city of the world's largest retailer. Okay. So it's a busy place. That's the point I'm trying to make. Within 9 months, I was working the busiest operational position on the busiest day during the busiest time for that restaurant. Okay. I had to work my face off to get to that spot. That was a coveted spot. Everybody wanted to work that position. I got there through discipline, okay? I did not stay at that job for long, though, because in the span of a year and a half, I had graduated high school. I graduated high school a year early, also requiring a bit of discipline there. I did that so I could travel the country with a traveling ministry to the continental U.S. I then entered college. I shortened my bachelor's degree program, which is usually a 4-year degree. I shortened that to 2.5 years through the use of CLEP tests and piling on additional semester hours. Okay, I did it in 2.5 years. I did it with straight A's. I've never made a B. I've always sacrificed things I needed to sacrifice to study and get good grades. Okay, after college, I came back to Bentonville, and my first job was with Walmart. I started out working for samsclub.com, and then I upgraded positions to a social media role on the Walmart team. My time at Walmart ended when I decided I wanted to start my own marketing firm, my own copywriting, content writing firm. So I left, started a one-man show from nothing, cold calls, cold emails, LinkedIn outreach, etc. And then within a few months, I was working for the vendors for Walmart. I was a freelance writer helping them write the taglines and the catchphrases that they would put on their end cap displays that would be displayed in Walmart to sell to the masses across the country. In the process of being a content writer, I ran into a client that I really liked. It was a client that was duplicating a business model from the West Coast for drive-through coffee. And I had a sense in me that that model would really take off. So I started working for them on the side, in addition to my marketing venture. Fast forward several years, I started with them when they had 0 stores. And when I left, they were closer to 100 stores. While I was with this coffee company, I was named in the franchise disclosure document. I was able to work with multiple billionaires across multiple industries, one-on-one. I have their cell phone numbers in my phone. And I coached and consulted franchisees from a variety of backgrounds across the countries on how to build their businesses and to scale their culture effectively. When I left that job, I was the communications director for the company, and I left on good terms because I wanted to do this. I wanted to change men's lives full time. And within a few months of leaving that position, I had convinced someone from across the world to pay me money so I could change their life. Everything I just told you takes discipline. There were moments in every point along that journey, whether it was at my first job or my most recent one or in school, where I did not feel like continuing. I did not feel like going on, but I did it anyway. That is this quality of discipline that we're talking about. And so I need you guys to believe me when I tell you that discipline as you understand it is hyped up, overrated, and doesn't make sense, okay? As someone who's done the thing and been there, and I skipped a lot of details. There's a lot more we could say on all of that I just said. But as someone who's done things and is doing things that require discipline even to this day, let me tell you, discipline is not what it's cracked up to be, okay? Discipline is often pitted against motivation. Motivation is seen as this inferior kind of feminine, touchy-feely, hypey thing. And discipline is seen as this masculine, oh, motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you going. Guys, that could not be further from the truth. And I know that flies in the face of a lot of what you hear nowadays from guys like Jocko, from guys like David Goggins, from guys like Andy Elliott, Bedros Keuilian, Andrew Tate. There's a lot of guys who preach the opposite of that. They all kind of talk about the same thing, right? Discipline over motivation. It's very trendy, guys. I mean, if we're being real, it's very trendy. But this language will not last. This rhetoric will not last. And if you haven't already converted to my way of thinking, you will soon. I believe that I am a part of the return to accurate discussions around this topic, okay? Discipline is not the opposite of motivation. It is not better than motivation. Discipline is actually the result of motivation, okay? We need to completely redefine how we understand motivation because it has got such a bad rap. And it is just completely inaccurate to what motivation really is. Motivation is just like faith, love, integrity, selflessness. All of those things can be present without the accompanying positive feeling. People get confused about motivation because they think that it has to be a feeling, that it is a feeling, that it's this feeling that gets you started, that you're like hyped up, right? All virtues can be present absent of feeling. Let's say that again. All virtues can be present absent of feeling. Love is a virtue. I do not have to feel love to love. Faith is a virtue. I do not have to feel faith to have faith. All virtues can be present absent of feeling, whereas vices are always associated with feeling, right? I don't have doubt unless I'm feeling doubt. Fear is a feeling. Pride is a feeling, right? Selfishness is a feeling. Selflessness is a thing that can be done even while feeling selfish, right? That virtue doesn't have to be accompanied by the positive feeling, okay? This is emotional intelligence, guys, and that's what you're going to understand about a lot of these dudes, a lot of these jocks that have come to prominence by preaching this rough and tumble discipline doctrine. These guys are not emotionally intelligent, largely speaking. Some of them are, but Goggins, for example, let's be real. No therapist in the world is going to look at Goggins and say he's healthy, right? No one's going to look at him and say he's emotionally integrated. No counselor is going to look at him and say, yeah, he would make a great husband. No, he's emotionally dysfunctional. And all of the Goggins-esque doctrine is emotionally dysfunctional at the core. That is part of why I'm here, is because I see these trends and I'm trying to correct them. I'm trying to help guys be motivated correctly, disciplined correctly. Not that I'm a perfect example by any means, but I do know what I'm talking about on this topic. So the same thing is true for motivation as is true about these other virtues. It can have a feeling, but it can also be present without one. And people get confused thinking that if they're not feeling like it, then it just must be discipline taking over, right? Like motivation is for when you're feeling good and then discipline takes over for when you're not. That's a poor example. So to understand how motivation works, we really need to look at the meaning behind the word. We need to understand what it means, right? So motivation comes from a Latin root, okay? I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's M-O-T-U-S, modus, all right? So that root word is where we get a lot of our words in English, motivation being one of them. Some other ones that you're also familiar with are movement, motion, motor, right? All of these things are things that have movement associated with them, right? A motor moves things. Motion is in movement. Moving, modus, motivation, they all tie back to movement, right? Motivation can be a feeling or it cannot be, but whatever it is, however it feels, motivation is the thing that makes you move. Motivation is the thing that puts you into action and sustains your action. Discipline is what happens when you're motivated. So the guys that don't understand motivation, they hear that and they think it's weak or they think it's effeminate or soft or something, and they just don't understand what it really is. And usually it's these same guys that are emotionally numb. They're emotionally deaf. They can't feel things properly, and so they don't know how to communicate properly. But all of the disciplined guys you see are motivated men, 100% of the time, no exceptions. Think about a case of criminal law. The prosecuting attorney needs to prove two things: criminal means, right? Like, I've got the means to commit this crime, whether it be with a knife or a gun or whatever the crime is. I had the means to do it, and I had the motive, right? I had the intent, the reason why. Ask a disciplined man why he is disciplined, and that will reveal to you his motivation. Every disciplined person has motivation. People get really confused on that. They say, oh, I struggle to stay away from the dirty websites because I'm not disciplined enough. Oh, I would eat right. I would have a healthy diet, but I'm just not disciplined enough. Oh, Luke, you wake up early every day and you go to the gym. I wish I could do that. I struggle with a lack of discipline. Okay, that's true. I'm not going to discount that, but discipline is only the symptom. It is not the problem. Okay? Yeah, it's true. I have more discipline than a lot of you watching this, but that is not the real issue here. The real issue is motivation, okay? Let me give an example to you. Let's use some of these problems we just talked about. So like the gym, waking up early, dieting, vices, whether that be Crown and Coke, dirty websites, hard drugs, whatever it is, things that you don't want to do that you're doing. What if I told you that I had your whole entire family kidnapped and they were all going to meet an early grave unless you woke up at the same time every day for the next 90 days and went to the gym 5 days a week and stuck to a diet plan and avoided dirty websites? If you could do that for 90 days, your family, your loved ones, your girlfriend, whatever it is, they survive. If you can't, it's too bad. They're out of the picture. Do you think you could do it? Do you think if I had threatened the people you love most, do you think that you could somehow find the will to do it? Absolutely you could. Absolutely you could. I did not give you a magic discipline pill. I changed your motivation. I upgraded your motivation with that example, right? The guy that is 45 years old and he's in the gym every single day. He's in the gym every single day. He's always working hard, in super good shape. He's 45 and doing that, but the only reason is because 2 years ago, he had a heart attack at age 43. And his doctor said, hey man, you won't be able to see your little daughter get married unless you start taking care of yourself. And so now he never misses a day in the gym. He did not get a discipline upgrade, guys. He got a motivation upgrade, right? Because he knew he needed to take care of himself back when he was 43, before the heart attack, back when he was 35. And a lot of you know exactly what you need to do too. You just don't. And you say, oh, it's because I'm not disciplined. True, but why are you not disciplined? It's because you don't have the right motive, right? Think about a terminally ill cancer patient. This chemotherapy is the only way they can live. Do you think they feel like going to chemo? Do you think they have hypey music playing in the background? Do you think they feel like doing it? No, absolutely not. But if you ask them why they do it, they're not going to tell you it's because they're disciplined. It's because they want to live, bro. It's really simple. Take it back to your childhood, right? If you had good parents like mine, or at least decent ones, then they probably made you eat your broccoli sometime, right? When you were 3, 4, 5 years old, they probably said, hey, buddy, you have to eat your vegetables before your dessert, right? And you did it. Why did you do it? Well, because you wanted dessert. It's that simple. It's not because you're disciplined. It's not because you're better than anybody. It's because you were connected to a motive, a motivation. You didn't feel like eating those vegetables. I still don't. I don't really actually eat vegetables. You did the thing you didn't want to do because you were motivated. You didn't feel like it, but the motive was that dessert on the other side. Okay, we could go on and on and on. That is how it works. End of discussion. And the reason why guys don't want to accept that is because it is actually a covert technique of blame. Because if I can sit here and say, oh, I don't live the life I want because I don't have enough of this magical, special character quality called discipline, then I can blame everything that I'm not doing off of my lack of discipline. Right? I can say, oh, if I only had more discipline, then I would work harder. If I only had more discipline, then I would eat the right way. I wouldn't cave into this bad habit. I wouldn't watch Netflix for that extra show. I would wake up on time. If only I had more discipline. Bummer, I'm just not a disciplined guy. How about this? You don't want it bad enough. See, that's harder to accept, isn't it? I don't have strong enough motivation. My motive, my desire, my why is not strong enough. As a matter of fact, I am motivated. I'm just not motivated to do the right things. I'm motivated to do the wrong things. Tougher pill to swallow, isn't it? Right? And so it's a lot easier to be a Jocko fanboy, to be a Goggins fanboy, and to be a Tate fanboy, and to scream discipline and who's going to carry the boats, and to bemoan your lack of discipline instead of coming to terms with the fact that you don't want it bad enough. See, that's the way we make real changes. We have to come eye to eye, face to face with the truth. And if you are not willing to do that, then blaming discipline is going to be an easy scapegoat for you. But I'm here to tell you one more time. If you do not have discipline, it is because you do not have motivation. Motivation is not necessarily a feeling, although it can be. Motivation is from the Latin modus. We also get the word motor, movement, motion. It is that which makes you move. It is your motive. It is your why behind everything you do. It is your level of connectivity to the why and the power of that why for you that will determine your motivation, that will, by product, determine your discipline. This video is getting a little longer than I wanted it to get, so I'm going to wrap it up here in a bit. But I need you guys to take away this point. You will not grow in the ways that you want to grow unless you can boldly, with courage, admit to yourself that you don't want what you say you do, right? If I want to know what a man wants to do, I literally just look at what he's doing because that is what he wants to do. Just like you didn't want to eat your vegetables, but you did, there was a battle of motivations. When that toddler eats his vegetables so he can have dessert, there is a battle of motivations going on. There's a motivation that says, those vegetables are disgusting, I don't want to eat them. That's one motive. And then the other motive says, that dessert looks delicious, I want to eat that. And the child eats their vegetables whenever the motivation for dessert exceeds the motivation to avoid the nasty vegetables. It is a battle of motivation. And when the good favorable motivation wins, it produces this thing that we've labeled as discipline, which is doing the thing when you don't feel like it. You will not grow. You will not live the life that you want to live. You will not be disciplined the way you want to be until you understand that you do not want the things you say you want. You have to fix that part of you that wants things. You have to fix your motives, your motivation. And until you do that, you will not produce the discipline that you want to produce. Period. End of story. There's all these discipline hacks and tricks and, frankly, motivational hype speeches about discipline. Those will not fix the root issue. The root issue is your motivation, and motive is tied to belief. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that shook some of you out of this trend of discipline. I hope that makes sense. I hope you're able to digest that. I hope you're able to confront the truth about where you're really at and the things that you really want. If you want help developing your motivation, turning your motivation from dysfunctional to healthy, from weak to powerful, then I highly recommend you book a call with me. I transform the lives of men using biblical truths integrated with emotional healthy psychology, and I help them overcome vices, gain confidence, increase motivation, be more healthy in relationships, all that good stuff. Please book a call with me if you are the type of guy who you think could benefit from something like that. Again, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, help us motivation pill more people. And be sure you're subscribed for future updates. I'll see you soon.